Hey guys, before we get started, I just wanted to take a second to tell you about the Muscle Hustle. It is a super fun grappling related game that you can get on your mobile device that allows you to collect, train, and promote a completely original roster of wrestlers. And they all have unique abilities that you can combine and train up and equip new gear. And you build a team of these guys to take on other teams and challenge for championships. It's really, really fun. There's also PvP stuff. I haven't even touched that yet. I'm just having so much fun with the single player stuff. There's a whole campaign where you go around all the different territories trying to win the world titles. Really, really fun game to play. And just because you listen to the B+, the great guys and girls over at the Muscle Hustle app are going to give you some fantastic rewards. So if you enter in the code the B+ when you play from the promo code in the settings menu, you're going to get 25 gold to go towards building up your team and training your team. It's going to give you a leg up against the competition. So click the link in the show notes, download the app, enter the code the B+, and I'll see you in the ring. Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B+ podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one, arm drag.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two, arm bar.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Dummy.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three, Tomas covered, three-handle family Gradunzel.
Mamma mia!
And now, Unchained.media presents the B+ Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
It's me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin.
Number 4, armbar.
I will never retire.
I still got 200 more. I got 200 more holes to list.
All right, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, welcome to another B+ podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Wednesday. You know what that means. It's time for King of Sportscast, and we can hear the ever-familiar sound of cars passing by. And so that can only mean one other person is on the line. Big boy Mikey, how are you, my man?
It's Gran Chico now. Gran Chico. No. I'm good, man. I'm good.
Wouldn't it be El Chico Grande, the big boy?
Oh, the big. That would
Like,
be
just
the
because of
big
the way
boy.
they're-
Yeah.
The way their
Yeah.
grammar works.
True that. There you go. But yeah, no. Got the main road pumping. We're recording on an afternoon. We're going to be recording before dinner for the first time ever, just to pull back the curtain there for people. But it's not 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, we're doing it nice and early for once because Big Boy isn't at work today. He's playing hooky.
Mate, I had a horrible fucking morning, but just chilling on the couch, had my laptop and my mic ready. I thought, oh well, let's just do it early.
Yeah, do it early. I like that. I can hear that you haven't had your internet upgraded yet.
I have not. I have not moved yet.
This will be fun. I'm actually getting new internet next week. So The people we live with are moving out. So rent is doubling. Yay. Completely unrelated note. If you guys want to support the podcast, just go to patreon.com/thebeatplug. No. Any money that comes in through the Patreon goes straight back into the podcast and the team. I'm not going to pay my rent with that. That's with other things. But yeah, so rent's doubling. But as well, the internet's in their name. So we have to get a new internet connected. And I'm like fighting with the companies to make sure we don't have a single day of downtime because we put up podcasts every day, Mikey. I don't know if you know this.
I know. Well, pull back the curtain again and I'll let the fans know, as you know, might be in drama for King of Sportscast next Tuesday night because I moved like on the weekend and my Optus is getting disconnected from here on the Tuesday and getting reconnected on the Tuesday. Touch wood, everything goes ahead, but knowing Optus they're going to fuck it up. And because no offense,
knowing any of the majors, man, go with one of the minor companies. Some of them, like the minor companies, actually care about you as a customer. Yeah. You know,
once this contract's over, no Optus support ever. We're never getting sponsored by Optus after this. But yeah, once this is over, fuck, I'm done with Optus. They're absolute shite house. And yeah, I want to get a small one, but. Like I said, no offense to the NXT podcast that we do. I love doing it. I'm not stressed if I don't miss that because I know a host of our team members on the B Plus do watch NXT, so I'm sure someone can cover for me. But King of Sports is my baby. I hate missing it, so fuck it, I'll just have to stream it off my phone next Tuesday night. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. We'll do our best to make sure things come out to you guys. But if it's late, now you know why. But this one won't be late because we're doing this nice and early, and it's a big one too. So, of course, it's King of Sports Day. King of Sports being Ring of Honor, CMLL, Rev Pro, and, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling. And, NWA? Let's start with that. Is NWA part of the King of Sports universe now?
Yeah, well, for the next 4 months, yes. For the next 4 months, NWA is playing a big part in the King of Sports universe, with nearly everyone having some sort of role there.
Right, so we already knew that NWA were bringing back the Crockett Cup, which is a tag team tournament. Right. We knew that Ring of Honor were partnering with them to present this, but now we've found out, and we found this out probably not coincidentally, we found this out about 2 hours before the All Elite Wrestling rally went live. Everyone tried to steal the headlines from All Elite Wrestling. Everyone was like, look, NWA, we're working with CMLL, Ring of Honor, we're working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. And everyone's like, okay, yeah, cool, we're waiting for All Elite. WWE, like, we had the best financial year in our history. Everyone's like, yeah, cool, we're waiting for All Elite. Like, no one cared. I felt really bad. All these other companies very deliberately releasing major news on the day of the All Elite rally to try to steal a headline or two away, and they just couldn't do it.
Oh, well. Yeah, I know. But I'm excited for this Crockett Cup. Should we also touch on we're changing up the format for King of Sports?
Yeah. No, okay, yeah, absolutely. So basically, guys, we're going to just talk major stories now, right? Yeah. Instead of running you down the results for every single little thing, because we listen to the people and we know what people want, we're just going to give you like major headlines, and then we're going to have a little section in the middle where we run down the results of major cards, so TV. So basically, Road 2 cards, unless anything major happens, we're probably not going to talk about it. Yeah. You'll hear us talk about in like generalities, like the way stories are going, the way things are happening, you know, like the good guy Tama Tonga, all that stuff is happening in the undercard of the Road 2 shows. And so that kind of thing will get mentioned in passing. But we're going to try to stick to major stories, like a format of like 5 or so major stories from around the King of Sports universe, and then TV results and major results only, followed by previews. So we're doing things a little bit differently. And yeah, the first major piece of news is probably that inclusion of NWA into the King of Sports universe, because not only did we get the announcement that Ring of Honor, New Japan, and CMLL are all working with NWA on the Crockett Cup, we also had an NWA World's title match on Ring of Honor TV this week when PJ Black challenged for the title against Nick Aldis. Hell of a match. So it looks like NWA are really throwing their chips in and going all in, pardon the elite pun there, but going all in with this alliance of Ring of Honor, CMLL, and New Japan. What do you think of it, Mikey?
I think it's perfect. NWA, the 10 pounds of gold, it stands for respect in the business. It's got history. It's got, it's a very honorable title that goes back to, the 1950s or whatever, and with some of the greatest names in the history of pro wrestling to hold it. It's an important title. And to be honest, the three companies in the pro wrestling world that talk about honor, talk about wrestling as if it's a sport, as if it's something is New Japan, Ring of Honor, and CMLL. CMLL. Fuck, that's butchering. Those three companies are quite simply three of the major companies that want to bring wrestling as a respectable sport. Like they presented that, and that's the way the NWA title has always been booked. And I believe, especially Ring of Honor has always been built around the word honor. So I think NWA working with Ring of Honor is perfect. They did have a little bit of a history back in the old days. Around, I want to say about 2006, 2007 era, there was a bit of an NWA storyline in Ring of Honor. But yeah, I'm all for this. Be interesting to see what teams CMLL or New Japan send over for it. Don't know, who's on there. I don't know who they take, but it's going to be awesome. I can't wait for it.
You know what I think? I think bring RevPro into the Alliance, you cowards.
Oh, yeah.
Bring RevPro into the Crockett Cup, you cowards. I want to see Aussie Open.
Yeah.
Right? We'll probably see Suzuki and Zach. And if you bring RevPro in, you can have Aussie Open in there. So I want to see Aussie Open. That's what I want to see. More than anything. So it's kind of my gimmick.
Well, we should touch on, there's only two teams that have officially been announced in the tournament. That is NWA's Crimson and Jack Stain, who are known as the War Kings, and Brody King and PCO as Villain Enterprises. So they're the only two teams.
So Villain Enterprises are in there, yeah.
That's awesome. So let's just take a quick little 2-minute little run here. Who do you feel from New Japan would come over? I know you just said Suzuki and Sabre. There's a high chance that Suzuki and that do work with Ring of Honor from time to time. That is a good option, but I would love to see Tama and Tanga.
Yeah, Tama and Tanga would be good. You got to think that Evil and Sonata would do it, right? Evil and Sonata do a lot of Ring of Honor too, so...
Yeah, I would love to bring in maybe one of the legend teams, maybe Nagata and Nakanishi, or maybe Liga and Tiger Mask, something like that, to give a little bit of...
Is it a heavyweight tournament, or is there no weight restriction?
No, it'd be all over.
Okay.
Yeah, so I could see someone like that being, just to give it some prestige.
Taiji Ishimori and Robbie Eagles.
Oh,
that's who we want.
That would be perfect.
Bring them into the fold. Who would you bring from CMLL other than Los Ingobernables? Because I know you're going to say Los Ingobernables.
No, I'm not going to say Los Ingobernables because the best person from Los Ingobernables is already in Ring of Honor anyway. I would have to say the Dynamitas, Sanson and Cortero. That'd be an option. I really hope they don't go with Stuka Jr. and who else was in the Survival of the Fittest tournament for Ring of Honor last year? It was Stuka and...
wasn't it Stuka Jr. and Guerrero Maya?
Guerrero Maya, yes. As good as they are two lower card guys from CMLL. I'd like to see them use some proper names like Volador Jr. and maybe a team of Volador Jr. and Mystico, or Dragon Lee and Mystico. Someone that actually Dragon Lee and Mystico would be a perfect team. But yeah, I'd like to see them bring in a top class tag team for CMLL, or two teams. But there's so many teams that they can enter. I mean, NWA, basically an open slather, because technically anyone could be NWA at the moment. So
yeah, well, I mean, how many teams are going to be in the tournament? Do we know? Is it an 8-team tournament, a 16-team tournament? What do we know?
Just reading it.
I don't think they've announced how many teams. Let's have a look.
No. Well, I don't know if they'll do it this year, but the original concept was 24 teams.
Right.
I don't know they'll do that this year, but
The number of participants is unknown. So we could go with, they could go with a 24 team. I imagine it's going to probably end up being a 16 team tournament. I think that's the most likely.
And the coolest part for me so far is a whole bunch of legends have been announced to be there on the night. The Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express, Jim Cornette, Magnum TA, and Nikita Koloff. They're all going to be present at the show. How are they going to...
Yeah, which is amazing because NWA like to do that whole 1 foot in the past, 1 foot in the future thing. Right, which is really cool. I'm a fan of the way they do that. So it's pretty cool bringing back the legends in this instance. We don't want them getting involved. Just have them sit at ringside and wave to the crowd or something like that,
Right. But it's going to be interesting. 31 years since the last one. So, the last tournament was won by Luger and Sting. So, some great company there if you do win it. So,
yeah, absolutely. And so, speaking of tournaments, though, the Universal Tournament down in Mexico, CMLL. I believe there's some happenings going on with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Friday night on Super Friday, which I'll run down the TV results a little bit later. Block B went down. So 2 weeks ago, and we touched on it last week's podcast. El Terrible won Block A. Last Friday night, they had Niebla Roja, the brother of Angel de Oro. He won Block B. So the final is this Friday night, El Terrible versus Niebla Roja. I love this tournament. I'd love to see more companies do this. I know CMLL have a lot of champions, but little tournament of champions. And then at the end, you get your own. This is CMLL's universal title that's defended once a year. So it's I like it.
I think tournaments are awesome.
Absolutely.
Like I miss King of the Ring in WWE. You know what I mean? I feel like tournaments are like an easy go-to that helps you get around a whole bunch of new characters. Look at the Mae Young Classic, look at the Cruiserweight Classic, look at the UK tournament and the success that they've had in introducing characters, the success that they've had in getting people over with a tournament format. King of the Ring used to do it too. King of the Ring used to get people over hard. G1. It's a different kind of tournament, but it's easy to follow to an extent. Yeah. G1's a lot harder to follow than a single eliminator, but tournaments.
Yeah,
I'm going to say this: we need more tournaments in professional wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. G1 and Best of Super Juniors is a little bit of a different kettle of fish, but New Japan Cup and those sort of things. I love tournament play, and like you said, you can build so much story out of tournaments.
Yeah,
you can build so much, and it's simple storytelling. It's tournaments about being the best, and that WWE is obviously a little bit different. You got to have a little bit more soapy sort of stuff in there about, cheating on partners and all that bullshit. But pro wrestling companies, you
don't need to. But
pro wrestling companies, their rivalries should be based on competition and wanting to progress in competition.
Ideally, ideally, definitely. Ideally, that's definitely the case. Let's take a look elsewhere, though. That we're about to get to the biggest news, but there's a few more things that I think we should touch on before we get to what everyone knows we're going to talk about. What about going back to the Crockett Cup at Ring of Honor TV? But it's been announced on NWA 10 Pounds of Gold. They released the footage and everything. Marty Scurll versus Nick Aldis for the NWA World's Heavyweight title.
Oh, that's going to be awesome, man. I love this. This could be one of Marty's last matches for Ring of Honor. I think 3 months by the time they get there. Could be one of his last matches if he does really leave. Which we always...
Do you know when his contract expires?
I swear it was 3 months extra. That's what 3 months extra than the other guys because...
So around April.
I think after Supercard.
March or April.
Supercard was meant to be his. So I'm guessing this might be one of his last matches if he leaves. There's no guarantees that he's going to go. He might enjoy being the big fish now. Like he might he might sign on another year at Ring of Honor, but I'm sure he wants to be with his buddies as well.
It's interesting. I wonder if he's the person who Cody isn't answering phone calls from.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's but that's for a different podcast. But yeah, so he's challenging Nick Aldis for the World Heavyweight Championship. I haven't watched the angle yet. I know that it's out there, but unfortunately, I've had personal issues the last couple of days that have kept me away from watching every little thing that has come out. I do apologize. So yeah, NWA 10 pounds of gold. It'll be covered on this week's All the Rest, though. Mr. Mysterious does a wonderful job covering all the YouTube stuff, like Being the Elite, NWA 10 pounds of gold, the MLW shows as well. So you definitely get around All the Rest if you want to hear the specifics of what happened there. So this is the first time they've faced off in about 4 years. So 2015 was the last time they've had a fair few one-on-one matches. They had a one-on-one in 2015. Then before that, we're going back to 2009, 2008. They had a series of matches in 2008, probably just at live events. Like, I don't think that's not anything that was broadcast ASW. So the last time they really had a program was 2008 back in England.
Wow.
So these guys have grown a lot since then.
They're even on a team. Who the fuck is that? Wow. So they were teaming. So 10th of March 2006. That's nearly 13 years ago. So they were right. You said 15, but we know wrestling inflates. Couple of years or a couple of thousand crowd members, whatever. They were a team against Ricky Knight. Is that bloody? That is Paige's brother, isn't it? That's the one that. No.
Well, there's Ricky Knight. No, Ricky Knight's her dad, and then there's Ricky Knight. There's Ricky Jr. is her younger brother.
Yes, that's the dad. That's the dad. Wow. So Marty and Nick tagged against bloody Paige's dad all those years ago. That's interesting.
Wow. There you go. Yeah, so they do have a history. They have a history that you got to imagine is going to come into play, and this takes place after Supercard. So I'm going to make a wild prediction here that Marty wins the Ring of Honor World title at Supercard.
Yeah.
He drops the Ring of Honor World title in a title versus title match at the Crockett Cup to Nick Aldis. And Nick Aldis becomes the NWA Worlds and the Ring of Honor Heavyweight Champion. That's my prediction. Wild, off the wall. He does that on his way out to All Elite to face Cody, which is why they're censoring the name and saying it's personal, because he's saying that Marty Scurll's dead, right? Like he's hanging up pictures and he's replacing Marty Scurll's face with MJF's face. So when they get the phone call on that Road to Double or Nothing show, and they blur it out, but it looks like it starts with a closed mouth sound like a right?
Yeah.
So I think it might be Marty. That's my operating assumption at the moment. I've got it either Marty or Phil Brooks.
Yeah.
So I think Marty's more likely. So I don't think he's going to stick around the King of Sports universe for much longer.
But question to you about the other side, Nick Aldis. Where do you think Nick Aldis's ceiling is? Do you think this is his ceiling? Because I really, really enjoy his work, and he's only 32. I know that's not exactly young.
No, is he really?
32. Yeah, he's only 32.
He's only 32. Holy crap. Yeah, no, you know what? I think that where he is the perfect place for him. I think that even if WWE or All Elite Wrestling were to make him an offer, I think he's obviously paying the bills as it is at the moment, right?
Yeah.
And his wife is paying the bills as well. Like, they make decent enough money. And what he is doing is, for a kid who grew up watching wrestling, he is restoring to prominence a belt, a brand, a company almost. He's restoring them to prominence when it was pretty much dead. Right. So, like, he is literally living a dream. Like, I don't think... And he's so good at it too. He is such a great NWA World Heavyweight Champion. And if they keep going this way, and if he sticks around and stays with it, if he stays the course, and if things go well, like, that title in the future, people will talk about him.
Yeah.
more than almost anyone, you know? Like, his name will be just as important to that title. If he keeps going the way he is, his name will be just as important to that title as a Ric Flair, as a Dusty Rhodes. You want to be in that kind of company when people talk about you. Right. So I think that he's probably in the best place he could possibly be.
And I'm hoping that PWI keeping an eye on it, because this NWA World Title in its rebirth, in the Billy Corgan era, has been defended in 4 countries now, all, by the way, by Nick Aldis. Is it when you get to a 5th, does that technicality call it a world title?
I don't know, man. I don't remember. I don't remember where I read it, but it's like a certain amount of continents. Or
he's done it in Australia, like our own Robbie and Jack and all that. Bonda and Jonah had a title shot and everything.
But it was already a world's title.
Yeah, but I don't think they count it anymore. I don't know they count it.
Like, it doesn't come from the same lineage? I'm sure
same
it does.
lineage, but I don't think they count it as, you know, when they say, oh, he's a world champion. NWA World Champion doesn't have that. I don't think it's got it back yet. IWGP.
No, it does.
The IWGP title doesn't
I would
even
say
have
it does.
It's just stupid.
I would say it does. I think the NWA World's title is very safe to call a world title at this point. But let's move on. Speaking of titles, this is what everyone wants to hear us talk about. Everyone's waiting for it. We're talking about the King of Sports universe, and there has been crowned a new queen. Mayu Iwatani is the Women of Honor World Champion.
You can cover this one. I'll cover the next one. Yeah.
I was trying to swerve people there, right? Like, they thought I was talking about the other one. No, Mayu Iwatani, she won the Women of Honor World title. We'll get to it in the results, obviously. It took place at Bound by Honor weekend. They had the TV taping, and then the next night they had the live event. It's still weird the way they do that. I don't understand it. But at the live event, she challenged Kelly Klein, the gatekeeper, for the gold, and it's not gold, it's silver, and she won it. And I wasn't sure she was going to, because Kelly Klein herself only just won the title from Sumi Sakai, which begs the question, why didn't you have Sumi versus Mayu in a friend versus friend, friendly rivalry, shake hands, honor? You know, honor is real. Why didn't you do that whole thing? Why did you have to have a Kelly Klein as this transitional champion? And before you say, well, maybe Sumi was booked elsewhere. No, she was at ringside. She was there. So I think that Kelly's title reign could have been done without, considering how short it was. I was getting into it, and then they cut the legs right off it. But they cut the legs right off it to put the title on Mayu, which is amazing. Like, she's one of the best women in the world, and this is a clear statement. It's a shot across the bow at the other companies who were interested in Mayu that, no, hey, she's here. We have her work visas and everything for the next 3 years. You guys can't touch her. She's the champ. So it's a big thing for Ring of Honor, and it's awesome for Mayu Iwatani. It means more Mayu Iwatani on my TV, which makes me very happy, because, spoiler alert, Stardom World may have to get cut with my rent doubling. So yeah, it's like, it's unfortunately, I don't podcast about it too often, so it's lower on the list of priorities. But anyway, I get to see Mayu Iwatani on TV. I'm happy she's the Women of Honor champion, but I'm kind of mad that they cut the legs off Kelly Klein's reign before it really got going.
Yeah, but at the moment, I know I don't want to do the whole comparing thing. I sound like one of these morons, one of these internet wrestling fan morons, but
you realize that's what we are.
Yeah, we're not morons.
We're marks with mics, brother.
We're marks with mics, but we're not morons with mics.
We should put that on a shirt.
Marks with mics. I like it. I'm a mic with Mike. Anyway.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, Greg, curious question for you, man. Have you been shopping recently?
I have not.
Mate, well, I've got some good news for you. I know you're not a big fan of crowds, as most of us here at the B Plus aren't. Have you heard of Threadbox?
I have heard of Threadbox.
Man, then you would know how good they actually are. I mean, I just received my first crate, and holy moly, I'm amazed. Guys, if you're listening, go check out threadbox.com.au. And they have everything from hats to socks to shirts to pants. It's fantastic. With email to a personalized stylist and customizable crates, it's honestly one of the best things I've had. I don't know about you, Greg, but I really enjoy it.
I got a crate the other day, and they gave me new jeans, a couple of new shirts, and the cool thing is, one of the shirts I tried it on, and it was a little bit long for me, and I thought this accentuates how short I am in person, and so I sent them an email, and I was just like, hey. This shirt, I feel like it makes me look really short because I'm kind of short. And they were like, send it back. We'll give you something else next month, like an extra thing. So I'm going to send that shirt back. And then next month, they're going to send me out something else. And I said to them, I've got lots of shirts. And they were like, well, we'll send you some accessories. And that's how Threadbox do it. It's kind of fantastic.
So how good's that? And with our special code, the B plus 15 at checkout, actually saves all our fans 15% at checkout on their first box. How cool is that?
Yeah, so head to threadbox.com.au today and use the code the B plus 15 to get your first box as soon as you can. We are all WWE fans here. It's why we're here, listening to this show and spending inordinate amounts of hours consuming, complaining, and just generally eating, sleeping, and breathing professional wrestling. But if you want to take that to the next level, the only place to do it is WrestleMania 35 in the city so nice that they named it twice New York. And our new friends at All Aussie Travelers are going to help you make that happen in the best way possible. They are new to the wrestling travel game, granted, but they have over 15 years experience in sports and event tours between the US and Australia, so you know you're in good hands. They want to offer you an exclusive WrestleMania package, including return flights to the USA, 6 nights at the New Yorker Hotel right next to Times Square. And the thing that sets these packages apart are the VIP suites that AAT have secured for WrestleMania. So that's, of course, the Raw after WrestleMania. So not only are you going to go to the Hall of Fame, not only are you going to go to WrestleMania 35, but for NXT TakeOver, SmackDown Live, and the Raw immediately after WrestleMania that next night, you are going to be in an exclusive VIP suite that is not normally available to the public. But AAT, they got it locked down. They got it waiting for you with your name on it, your own private entrance, your own private toilets and bar, as well as an unparalleled view in the most comfortable seats in the house. You can experience WrestleMania weekend like never before, all at really competitive prices. So head over to All Aussie Travelers on Facebook, hit that like button, send him a message, send an email to Jack, that's JAAK, at allaussie.com.au, and let them know the B Plus sent you.
Look, at the moment, there is amazing Japanese talent, female Japanese talent everywhere. All Elite are snapping up a couple, WWE/NXT. You've got a couple there that are basically superstars at the moment. And I think Ring of Honor needed to capitalize on that as well. And I think Mayu Iwatani, she's a keeper, and Ring of Honor need to lock her down.
Yeah. We can almost count Stardom in this King of Sports universe. Almost. Because of their deal with Ring of Honor. Yeah. They're very close, and I imagine I think when we would make the call is when Jazz shows up in Stardom to defend the NWA Women's title in Japan.
Yeah.
Then we can officially say, all right, we're bringing NWA and Stardom into the fold and calling it all. But at that point, do we still call it the King of Sports universe, or does it become the National Wrestling Alliance podcast? Well, it's an international alliance, though. Man, wrestling is confusing in 2019.
Confusing universe. Because I think Over the Top in Ireland is somewhat of a close friendship with Japan too, because pretty sure any time.
No, but they're in the WWE books. They're one of the WWE approved territories.
And then WXW as well. They're kind of WXW and OTT are kind of the slots in between both. If that makes sense.
Yeah, they hedged their bets a little, unlike Rev Pro, who went all in on one side or the other. But Mayu Iwatani, new Women of Honor champion, it's awesome. But she wasn't the only new champion crowned this week, was she, Mikey?
No, she wasn't. The Revival. No, I'm kidding. Fuck the Revival. Jay fucking White.
We probably should have led with this.
This should have been top story. We needed a little top.
I'm just like, no, we saved the best for last. But I'm like, NWA, and people are like, click.
Yeah, we need to do it like a newscast. Ding ding, like top news story. Jay White. Yep, Jay White is the IWGP Heavyweight fucking champion of the world. Probably the highest belt won by a Kiwi in any brand ever.
Yeah. In completely unrelated news, Jay White is now considered Australian.
And New Zealand have always been our eighth state. Fuck it.
Well, for our purposes, we counted him already anyway.
When we talk Aussie graphs, Kiwi graphs is part of it. They're part of that.
Yeah, he cut his teeth on he cut his teeth on shows over here.
Absolutely. But what a wonderful moment. Don't want to sound too poppy about it because it was a heel moment for him. But what a great match.
It was not. He won it clean. He won it clean after a month of dominating Tanahashi in the build-up. And props to New Japan for the way they did this, the way they built it up. Like, when they go all in on someone, motherfucker, they go all in on someone. When they decide, this is our guy, we're making him our guy, there's none of this 50-50 booking bullshit. Like, they decimated Tanahashi over the last month. Like, they gave Tanahashi the title specifically so that they could destroy him repeatedly. And, Jay White would take the belt, right? He'd tap Tanahashi out in a fucking main event, and then he'd just pick up the belt and parade around with it like it was already his, which, it gets your mind ready. Like, now we've seen him carry that belt around so much, and it was even in the freaking video packages. You see him carrying that belt around. You associate him with that belt, and he hasn't even won it yet, right? It's genius. The way they built this match towards this title win was genius, and then he won it clean. Gato got up on the apron, but that wasn't even leading towards the end spot, and it backfired. It was a completely clean victory. He just had Tanahashi's number.
Yeah, which, I didn't mean as in, the way he won was a heel thing. I just didn't want to pop too much to make it sound like he was a babyface getting over.
Man, pop away.
He's not the babyface getting over, but he is the man. Sorry to steal the gimmick from Becky. Jay White is the man. He's the king of new beginnings. 2 years in a row. Last year, he debuted just before Kingdom with his new character. Came into Kingdom. Who do you have last Kingdom? Was it Tanahashi in the first Kingdom? Who do you have in the first Kingdom? Yeah, it was Tanahashi.
No, wait, it was Tanahashi. Yeah, because then he had Okada.
Tanahashi walked into the new beginning of Sapporo, so a year and 2 weeks ago, defeated Kenny Omega for the US title, went through the year between the whole Chaos and OGBC thing, dominated character-wise, just had the year of, even with Kenny,
he beat, in the G1, he beat Tanahashi and Okada, both. He became the leader of the Bullet Club. Then he beat Okada again. And the way that match went at Kingdom, they made us think Okada's back. Okada had a bad run after losing the title, but he's back. He's got the short boys on, right? His thighs are out. The robe was out. The old music was back. Everything. And he beat the Rainmaker, dude. And you got to think that this could be a long-term story where where Okada potentially wins the G1 and goes to the Dome next year to try to topple his former protege. Or they could pull the trigger on that early and they could go back to Okada for the G1 Supercard at Madison Square Garden.
That is the rumor that
if he wins the New Japan Cup. But it's exciting, man. It's very exciting. I'm here for this Jay White.
Absolutely. Look, the rumor is out there that Kenny was supposed to drop it to Okada at G1, and supposedly Jay White's just getting Kenny's story. But I don't believe that to be the case. I reckon they're going to stick with Jay White. I believe he headlines the G1 Supercard and he defends the title. I would like to see Jay White versus Jay Lethal or something like that. That'd be good. But a cool thing that we're going to get to see out of this, do you remember the anniversary show last year? Last year they did Okada versus Ospreay.
Yeah, right, yep.
We could get Jay White versus Ishimori.
Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting. I don't know, that's a bit of a clash of styles. I feel like it's... Jay White is someone who isn't necessarily exciting. He's very old school with the way he wrestles. And I'm here for it. Like, I really enjoy it. And I think there's going to be a lot of people bitching and complaining that... Like, you think people were complaining about Kenny Omega's title run? I think people are going to complain about this title run a lot.
People complain about every title run, no matter who you are.
Yeah, but no, I'm looking forward to it. Question is, who does he face at the Garden? Because he did say, like, they asked, when will you have your first defense? That's what they asked him in the post-match comments. And he was like, well, what's the next show? What's the next big show? New Japan Cup, right? Well, so I won't be defending it there. But what's after that? Madison Square Garden? I guess we'll do it there.
Well,
right? So he said that in the post-match comments, as well as just threatening to throw bottles of beer at people if he stands up, and after he stands up they ask a question, he'll throw bottles of beer at them. He was happy that the beer was cold for once, which was nice. But yeah, he's basically said his first defense will be at the Garden. It's got to be a successful defense. I don't think this is a short reign. We've just had 2 short reigns. It's time for, this reign has to be substantial.
Yeah.
I think he holds it till the Dome, right? And to me, it's got to be Okada or Naito. When was the last time Jay White faced off against Naito? They've kept them apart from each other for a while, haven't they?
One-on-one.
Were they in the same block for G1? No, they weren't. They were in separate blocks, weren't they?
Naito was in Omega's block,
So it's possible that this has been planned for a while and nothing has changed from the plan. Like, it's possible that Kenny was always meant to put over Jay White. Maybe they just had to switch it to, maybe Tanahashi had to step in for that month, but Jay White was always planning to take this spot, which makes sense with the way they had him built. He had probably the best run from Young Lion to post-excursion anyone has ever had.
Yeah.
Okada's the only person who, it almost mirrors Okada.
Yeah. I mean...
Which is why that's why you would think Okada takes it from him at the Dome as the conquering babyface, but Naito hasn't had his moment yet, and a lot of people are still waiting for Naito. I think there's so many exciting possibilities. Who do you think he gets at the Garden?
See, the fan booker in me, I wouldn't have given him a title defense at the Garden. I really wanted to have ROH champion versus IWGP champion headline the Garden. I wanted that. So either, at the moment, it would be Jay Lethal versus Jay White, which would be awesome to see. Something like that. But if it's going to be a technical title defense, it has to be Naito. Because the New Japan Cup winner gets a title defense at... I can't think what the show is, but it's about a week after the Supercard, I want to say. Which I firmly believe who is winning the New Japan Cup already this year.
Naito?
No. Someone who signed a 3-year contract today.
Oh, yeah, so Kota Ibushi has signed a 3-year contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling, so he could even be the one who takes the title at the Dome. I don't think he gets a title shot at Madison Square Garden. No,
not at Madison Square Garden. It would be either he'll get a title shot at the show that's after Madison Square Garden. I forgot what show it's called. But I believe he wins the New Japan Cup easily.
Yeah. I think he would be better off winning the G1, to be honest, because keep him away from that, because you don't want him to go up into that title scene until he's going to win.
Yeah, I could see him being the one to take him, because that is, we should have thrown that in as another story earlier, because that is big news, because I was fully expecting Kota to follow his best friend overseas, and to follow and to continue changing the world. But this is the first time in a long time that he's had a contract with New Japan.
He's been freelance.
And they've always been scared.
I know. I thought we'd get more of the Golden Lovers storyline.
But then again, they
So-
have said that Kenny has said that he's still allowed to work with New Japan if needed. Like if, so there
Right.
could be still something. I don't know, like maybe a one-off, a New Japan show in San Francisco or something. Maybe that's still a possibility.
Yeah.
But
like I said before, man, 2019 is crazy. We're only a month in, and this shit is crazy.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah,
What about, let me throw another name at you. Let me throw another name at you for winning the New Japan Cup and going to the Garden. Zack
Fuck.
Sabre Jr.
that's my simple response to you. Fuck. Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr.
See, because New Japan are booked so well, they can heat anyone up at any time. Like, way better than WWE can. It's,
What about
pretty crazy.
Minoru
So-
Suzuki versus Jay White?
well, yeah, that's how you give the title legitimacy. You give the reign legitimacy, right? Like, his first defense is against fucking Suzuki and wins.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn. Like, that's a strong champion right there. That's off to a good start. I don't know, man. Let's get into the results, though, the major results from the week. Where do you want to start?
There's only
with,
really
man?
2 TV results plus the New Beginning show. So, well, actually, Ring of Honor. What did you have from Ring of Honor? It's TV and
Yeah, so TV and Bound by Honor. So at Bound by Honor, we had Rhett Titus versus Jay Briscoe. Pretty fun match. Goes about how you expect it for Rhett Titus. Jay picks up the win with the Jay Driller. Pretty short, one-sided matchup. Dalton Castle and the boys take the L against Shinobi Shadow Squad. So 3S, as I'll call them for short. 3S. They pick up the win there. Eli Isom gets a pin on Dalton Castle, right? So Eli Isom, keep in mind, he has a pin over Christopher Daniels. Now he has a pin over Dalton Castle. They see big things for this kid.
yeah, he'll be IWGP champion in 4 years. I'm kidding.
And so we get a little bit more of the Dalton and the boys having a bit of tension, right? Like there's a bit of miscommunication. There was a blind tag that Dalton didn't like. So we're definitely getting a Dalton and the boys split. Who's going to be the ones that turn? We're not sure because they were tagging themselves in, so that was kind of the heel move this time around. Whereas last time it was Dalton pushing them over. So it could go either way. They're doing this pretty well. Then we get Zack Sabre Jr. versus Colt Cabana, guys. This is my match recommendation for the week. I am a fan of catch wrestling, of grapple wrestling, of wrestling, and you forget how good Colt Cabana is at wrestling, right? Because he was a fantastic wrestler. That's how he ended up in Ring of Honor. And then he was in Ring of Honor and he took a look around and he was like, I'm a fantastic wrestler. Everyone here is fantastic wrestler. How can I stand out? I'll be the funny guy, right? Because he's fucking smart. But when he needs to, when he gets in the ring with Zack Sabre Jr., man, he turns it on. This match was incredible.
Nice, I like that.
Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. wins with a triangle choke, but that's my match recommendation for the week, guys. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Colt Cabana. I'd probably give it a solid, upper 3.75, 4 stars, around that range, but that's because I'm biased for this kind of wrestling as well. So you may not give it the same, but I really like this match. Then we had Silas Young versus Willie Mack versus Kenny King versus Marty Scurll in a 4-corner elimination with Kenny King getting the win on Marty Scurll with a schoolboy roll-up after sort of distracting the ref and using his heel tactics. So we got Kenny King with a pin over Marty Scurll. Rocky, that'll come into play later as well. Rocky Romero and Jeff Cobb you'll remember this one was for the TV title after Rocky Romero won the Proving Ground match, shocking the world, and Rocky Romero loses, not shocking the world. Then we get Mayu Iwatani defeating Kelly Klein for the title. 2 moonsaults seals the deal for her. Really fun match. Then we get Lifeblood, represented by Juice, Bandito, and Haskins, and Hot Sauce, taking on the Bouncers and Coast to Coast. Really random pairing. Bandito picks up the win over one of the Coast to Coast guys for Lifeblood. Then we get PCO versus Mark Briscoe, and this match is the one you don't want to watch if you're queasy, because it's just Mark Briscoe beating the shit out of PCO for like 10 minutes. Unprotected chair shots, power bombs on stages, pushing down the stair, apron bumps, and then PCO, just gets up from everything, kicks out from everything, and hits his moonsault for the win. It's the way they build PCO, man, is terrifying because I feel like he's going to die. But anyway, Kingdom take on Lethal, Gresham, and Roosh for the 6-man tag team titles. Matt Taven ends up pinning Jay Lethal, which is huge, has world title implications, of course. And then afterwards, Kenny King comes out really randomly and just brags about beating Marty Scurll, gets in Lethal's face. And then for some reason, the entire locker room, so it starts with, Matt Taven getting back up and starting to fight. And then, out comes Silas Young, out comes Bully, out comes everyone. Like, absolutely everyone from the entire show brawling in this ring. And the announcer's like, we don't know what the hell's going on. And PCO ends up being the last man standing somehow. I don't know what this was. It was really, really fucking weird. And I wonder what they're going to do with it on TV, if anything. It might have just been something fun for the live crowd, and they were like, oh shit, we're still rolling. How random is that? Literally everyone, including Tenille Dashwood, comes out from the back and just start brawling everywhere. And PCO is the last man standing. Like, what is with that? I don't understand. And then on TV this week, really quick one on TV, we had the team of Josie Quinn, Corey Hollis, and John Schuyler, who, exactly, jobbers. They show up and they lose to Villain Enterprises. Nice and quick match. Then the Kingdom show up, say, oh, we'll defend the 3-man tag titles against you anytime, but not tonight, because heels. Then PJ Black and Nick Aldis are in the main event. That's the NWA World's title match. I would recommend this one as well. This is my second match recommendation for the week. PJ Black, Nick Aldis, fantastic stuff. Then we get a couple of... So that was the main event, but then we get a couple of promos anyway. And then Juice Robinson comes out and says that he promised he'd be here more in Ring of Honor. And we do the whole Lifeblood reveal, right? Which we'd already talked about because it was spoiled on the internet. So this was the reveal on TV of the Lifeblood stable and what they stand for to bring honor back to Ring of Honor. And that was the week on television and Honor Club for Ring of Honor. What have you got elsewhere?
Let's touch on the Super Friday show in CMLL, so Super Viennes. Like we touched on earlier in the news, it was a Universal Tournament Block B. So let's just run through the rest of the results of the night. Undercard, we had Metallico and Nitro defeat Principe Diamante and Ruben. We had a I'm not going to call it best of our 3, 4, 6-man tag matches because they all are. So we had Mysterio Jr., Okamura, and Universo 2000 Jr. defeating Black Panther, Drone, and Ray Kometa. Oh, hang on. Fuck, sorry. Okay. We also had Atlantis Jr. and Mystico defeating El Hijo del Villano 3, Gran Guerrero, and Villano 4, which is cool. They're still running with Atlantis Jr. and Villano 3 Jr. in the ring. Oh, sorry. El Hijo del Villano 3, because Villano 3 Jr. is in AAA. Then we got Los Ingobernables, represented by La Bestia del Ring and Roosh, father and son. They tag with Gilbert El Boricua, also better known as I forgot his name in Lucha Underground. Big fella.
Mil Muertes.
There we go. Mil Muertes is the right word.
Yeah.
They defeated the team of Angel de Oro, Caristico, and Valiente. Then we had the Battle Royal and tournament matches. So the Battle Royal seeding, let's just say Sanson and Volador Jr. won that, so they get I love that idea. If the two guys that win a Battle Royal, you get the last match. You get more of a breather, which I like it. Anyway, and the seeding for a tournament is shown live. I like that. For me, that it's different to just like, oh, hey, we're going to throw these tournament matches together because a couple of guys in the back thought this was a good idea. This is like, hey, no, this tournament has been seeded due to a Battle Royal. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Something about it. So these are the first round matches. So we had Ultimate Guerrero defeating Diamante Azul, El Cuatrero defeating El Soberano Jr., Niebla Roja defeating Mephisto, Volador Jr. defeating Sanson, which is just crazy that Sanson was eliminated so quickly. Then in the quarterfinal, we had Ultimate Guerrero defeating Cuatrero. Then we had Niebla Roja defeating Volador Jr., which was a big shock in my opinion. Then we had Niebla Roja defeating Ultimate Guerrero in the semi-final match So it's going to be Niebla Roja versus El Terrible this Friday night. Very shocking to see Niebla Roja win that. Like, he's great, but again, I think I talked about this last week. The names that got eliminated in this tournament, Sansons, Cortero, Ultimate Guerrero didn't even win it, Voldo Jr. Niebla Roja is a great talent, but Niebla Roja versus El Terrible is nowhere near as what they could have had for the final. They could have had, Caristico versus Ultimate Guerrero or something like that. That would have been amazing, but it is what it is. But fantastic tournament matches this week. I really recommend people going on and watching the final. If not, go find the GIF of Ultimate Guerrero being sad at the end of it. It is perfect. It's online. He's just
sad Guerrero.
Sad Ultimate Guerrero just chilling, like sitting near the ropes, just looking defeated. It's just, I saw the GIF and I was like, oh, I'm absolutely shattered for him. He's like a bad guy and I feel bad for him, but no, it was a fantastic Friday night show. Not going to run through the results of the other shows. I know I've been talking about Monday, but I got a recommended match for people to go watch this week. It was
Yes, awesome.
It was the Monday match, which is Tuesday from last Monday. There was a team of Sanson, Quattrero, and Forest Row, so the NGD versus Rush, Bestia de Ring, and Mystico. So it's actually family versus family in a 6-man tag. It was a really, really fun match. Really recommend it. Just love it. Really fun. I really hope they do some more the Munoz family, which is Rush and Dragon Lee and that. I hope they continue the feud a bit more because it feels like they're pushing towards more Rush with his family than it is in Ingo Benable's sort of thing. So whether they pull the plin on Ingo Benable's in Mexico and concentrate on the Munoz family, so Rush can maybe bring in Mystico and Dragon Lee to Ring of Honor, that'd be cool to see. But that's pretty much it for the for results and stuff in Mexico. Coming up this week, obviously for us, for me, CMLL, the final of the Universal Tournament is this Friday/Saturday morning. But I have just noticed alarm bells ring. Did you see that the Honor Rising cards have been announced for Japan? Honor Rising Japan cards.
No, I didn't notice.
Okay, they've been announced, and I want to quickly run through some of the highlights of these cards because they are fucking really good cards. So this will be on the February 22nd, so we've still got another card. So I do want to review this properly next week with you, but just some of the highlights. So this is Honor Rising is obviously Ring of Honor going to New Japan for a fun weekend of shows. Basically, what CMLL did at the start of January. This is Ring of Honor's turn. So like Marty Skrull's going to be over there. Marty Skrull's got a match against Ren Narita, one of the juniors. Our own Robbie Eagles is back in New Japan for it. Robbie Eagles will be tagging with Taiji Ishimori, going against a team of Gresham and Liga, two guys that he's actually beaten in the last 4 months. Gresham in PWG and Liga in New Japan, so that's really awesome. Tama and Tangaloa are tagging with the Briscoes, so it's God and Briscoes teaming up against Hanare, Honma, Finlay, and Juice. Deguchi, Yano, and Makabe are defending their 6-man titles against Cheeseburger, Delirious, and Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
Will Ospreay is defending his never openweight title against Dalton Castle, which is going to be a fucking awesome match. Ospreay Castle.
Oh, wow. Yeah. The thing is, though, Castle's nursing injuries, so he can't really go the way he's lost a beat. He really has, which pains me to say.
Well,
Ospreay can kind of make up for that.
Exactly. Because if anyone can bring it out of him, it would be Ospreay. Cobbs defending his ROH TV title against Goto. This is night one, by the way. There's 2 nights.
That's an amazing match.
That's amazing. You got Lethal.
Cobb versus Goto. I feel like we saw that. Didn't we see that match at the the weird thing that they did with where they had the
Yes. So
the guy on the show. It was, what was it? The video game thing, right?
yes. Yeah.
The Kenny Omega one.
That was for the Never title, I want to say. That was for the Never title back then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is now for the ROH, which is cool.
That's amazing.
The main event match is going to be Vinny, TK, and Taven, so the Kingdom, taking on Lethal, Okada, and Tanahashi.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's the main event of night one.
Kingdom gonna lose.
Heavily.
That's an amazing match. What a team. Jay Lethal with Tanahashi and Okada.
Right.
How did I miss this, man? How did I miss these announcements?
I've just gone onto the schedule to see what's coming up, and I noticed the match cards are there. I'm like, I didn't see it.
So this could have happened like literally today. I don't know when this happened.
Within the last 2 hours.
That's crazy.
And that's night one. Night two, we've got matches like Hanari and Gresham versus Zack Sabre and Parker. A very important match I want to see. Robbie Eagles is going one-on-one with Marty Scurll in a New Japan ring. Robbie Eagles versus Marty Scurll inside the Corrigan Hall New Japan ring. That is going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Vinny and Taven are taking on Naito and Shingo in a tag match. Jay Lethal is defending his ROH World title against TKO Ryan. Sonata and Evil are defending their titles against Tama and Tanga.
And are these shows going to be simulcast on both Honor Club and
I expect them, yes.
New Japan World? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because New Japan World is far more reliable than Honor Club.
Yeah.
So,
and then,
not to throw shade.
Yeah. And then to headline it, the Briscoes are defending their ROH tag titles against Finlay and Juice.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, that's kind of just a Ring of Honor match, really. But that's okay. Yeah. It's still cool. What about New Japan this week? What take us through the major result? I guess it's only the New Beginnings show, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I jumped the gun. You want to edit that and put that after?
No, it's fine. No,
I got really excited, and I was like, holy shit. Because
sometimes that happens, man. You see something sitting there, and you just got to address it. So if it was in the stack and you saw it and you got to address it, But let's hit the results for New Beginning, and then let's go home. Let's hit.
Yeah, let's do it. So we had Tenkoji sorry, let's do this. All right, we opened with Tenkoji and Liga defeating the team of Suzuki-gun, Minoru Suzuki, Takamichi Nuku, and Zuka. Of course, that was by DQ. We had Evil and Sonata defeating the Young Lions team of Yoshida and Yamino. Again, keep that junior tag team together. That is perfect. That the Young Lion team. I love Ayota Yoshida. If he is not a future champ, I don't know who is. He's
awesome. They've got a couple of good Young Lions at the moment, but yeah.
And we see what happens with Young Lions. Young Lion is a champion right now, so, anyway. Then we had Bushi, Shingo, and Naito defeating the Suzuki-gun team of Desperado, Taichi, and Kanemaru. They had Bullet Club Team 1, Chase Owens and Takahashi defeating Honma and Yoshihashi. That is a fucking weird tag team, isn't it? Yeah. Then we had Bullet Club Team 2 / Gorillas of Destiny, Tama and Tanga defeat Makabe and Yano. And then in the three main event matches, you had Ishimori defending his junior heavyweight title against Rizuki Taguchi. That was a great match. Taguchi was good. Taguchi, I liked it. Solid match. Kazuchika Okada defeated Bad Luck Far Away.
Yeah, I just want to go back to that match, the Taiji Ishimori and Taguchi match. I loved that match, dude.
Yep.
Like, I don't know what it was. I just felt like they were firing, man. They were firing on all cylinders, and so I'm a huge fan of Taiji Ishimori just in general. But Taguchi's underrated, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hot take here. The juniors put on good match for title. But it was. I really enjoyed this match. Like I was not going to be honest, falling asleep. And it kind of woke me up and got me stoked for the last couple matches, which was great.
Yeah. So then we had Okada defeat Fale. Then, of course, we've already touched on it. Jay White defeating the ace Hiroshi Tanahashi. for the IWGP Heavyweight title. He joins a very interesting legacy of human beings who have held that title, and it's just absolutely cool. But another great New Beginning show. We had NATO, my apologies. We had Ibushi's return announced through the night. Ibushi's back, and he'll be full-time 3-year contract, I believe. In terms of Japanese talents, I believe they put the rocket on Kota Ibushi in New Japan. I think the next 3 years are going to be based around Kota Ibushi and Jay White. Do you see much difference there?
I didn't hear you.
I see the next few years being built around the likes of Zack Sabre Jr., Jay White, Will Ospreay, Okada, of course, Naito, Evil, Sonata, and now Kota Ibushi will be built around this company.
Yeah, Kota Ibushi's going to be a big one, they've got plenty of talent. Like New Japan are fine, Ring of Honor are fine. It's other companies that we should be worried about with all the things that are going on. It's not these guys. These guys are fine. They are going to make it through. Things are looking really good. Now, before we go home, Mikey, where can people find you?
Sorry. People can find me at bigboy_Mikey1986 on the Twitter and Instagrams. Yeah.
And I am at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit. The B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe. 5-star review if you like what we do. Hit us up on patreon.com/the B Plus if you want to support us fiscally. And every dollar, as I said, that comes in, we don't take pay or anything yet because we're still growing this thing, man. We're growing this thing. Obviously, ideally, we would love for this to one day pay our bills and feed our families, but it's a passion project at the moment that we spend all kinds of ridiculous hours at night on. So, anything that you do helps us grow this thing, helps us bring more people in, helps us get everything going, get art pumping, get new theme songs, all that sort of fun stuff. So if you feel like supporting us, if you like what we do, patreon.com/the B Plus, or of course, check out our fine sponsors, Threadbox. If you want to look good, check out Threadbox. All Aussie Travelers, if you want to go to Mania, we're getting into crunch time. You've really got to get in there now. And of course, our new sponsor, Muscle Hustle on iOS and Google Play. All fantastic ways to support us. There's codes and everything. You hear the ads all the time. I shouldn't be rehashing this. I'm very sorry. Thank you so much for listening.
Hold one! Arm drag! You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon. Yeah. You just made the list! Oh my God!
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy! Goodbye and good night. Hold two! Arm bar!
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it! Dummy! Hold three! The moss covered, 3-handle family Granunzo!